Good morrow, onlookers of YouTube. This is Ven, welcoming you to the M.O.C Spotlight, where we take apart what you build, featuring a brand new intro sequence. I bet you liked it. If you didn't, oh well, I tried. Anyway, today's episode we'll be looking at Stampy the Dinosaur, posted on our message boards and created by Likus, or Likus, Likus. However you wish to pronounce this, take a look. Now before we get started on criticizing this thing, let me tell you about my method of reviewing, which involves a point system that is based on 3 fundamental attributes: the overall appearance of the M.O.C, the build of the M.O.C itself, and the concept and ideas behind the M.O.C's creation. All of these qualities will amount up to 5 points each for a total score that will be determined at the end of the episode. And remember, this is all based on my opinion. Feel free to hate, but don't discriminate. Now, moving on, here we have what appears to be a dinosaur. And to be more specific, a blue dinosaur. No, to be more specific, a Tyrannosaurus, maybe. No, Allosaurus. Some sort of two-legged carnivore. But instead of tiny arms, it has gigantic guns for arms. Oh wait, I get it. This dinosaur is armed. Get it? Armed. He has guns on his arms. I mean, guns for arms. Forearms. He has gun forearms. Okay, anyway, this guy has a fairly consistent color scheme of blue, orange, and light gray. I mean, you can see that the blue and light gray are the more dominant colors, and the orange is just kind of like a highlight sort of color. As you can see, the orange is placed on the underbelly and on this tubing on the back of the dinosaur, and also the dinosaur's eyes. Not much orange anywhere else, but it looks fine this way, to be honest. Now, the main feature of this M.O.C that really stuck out to me was the design of the head. It's a pretty neat and intricate design. However, I'm not sure how to feel about the eye placement, or rather the size of the eyes. I feel like Borak eyes don't really work out with this head shape too well. Also, the lower jaw seems a bit too small for a, if this is supposed to be a T-Rex or some sort of, you know, carnivorous dinosaur, then that lower jaw should be a little bit bigger, don't you think? Then again, it can be said that this is like a cartoony portrayal of a dinosaur. I mean, it has guns for arms. I already went over that. So, hey, with that said, it doesn't have to be that accurate, so I can excuse this. Now, moving on, the guns on the forearms look fairly basic. I enjoy the cartoony look it gives to the rest of the M.O.C. Then there are the legs that look pretty cool. My only gripe being that if you look down at the feet, you'll notice that the middle claw isn't, or doesn't really look like a claw. It's just a pin piece stuck in the middle. I mean, if those are supposed to be like extra guns that are just attached to the dinosaur's feet, okay, sure. No, well, I'm just using my imagination here. I really doubt that's actually the case. But it's a small thing, sure, but it still bugs me a little bit. Aside from that, the legs look pretty dang good. I especially like this little detail on the upper leg. Moving down lower, this tail. This tail's pretty nice. It isn't the most clean looking tail, but it works. Pardon my phlegm. It works. It doesn't look bad at all, and I gotta give him some credit because tails are typically not the easiest thing to design with bionicle elements. One final note about this M.O.C's appearance is that if you look at the M.O.C's midsection, it's not really as beefed up as it looks towards the front of the torso. Like, you can see that these big blue panels give the dinosaur some meat, but then that meat starts to slim down as you go past that part, and the dinosaur starts to look a bit like the ideal 90s chick. Okay, it isn't that bad, but it's just something that I noticed. But above all else, this M.O.C doesn't look half bad. Let's move on to the build. The build of this M.O.C looks really intricate and nicely compact. One thing that definitely concerns me about this M.O.C build is the stability, but it looks like it can hold itself up pretty well. These parts that he used on the legs especially, these articulated joints here, they're pretty strong parts from personal experience, so it looks like they can hold their place fairly okay. But I have a bit of doubt that they can keep this M.O.C balanced for too long, because it looks like the front part of this M.O.C is a bit heavy. Well, I guess that is what the tail is for, and I don't doubt that the tail helps, but I do doubt that it helps completely. Now, disregarding stability and structure, I will praise the fact that this M.O.C is so intricately designed. You can clearly see that this is a fairly complicated build, and it's come up with some pretty good looking results. I especially praise the build of the legs, maybe not so much the middle claw in each one of the legs, and I praise the build of the head, at least the effort put into it, because I have a personal appreciation for custom built heads and faces and whatnot. There isn't all that much else I wanted to talk about in regards to the build, so I'm gonna move on and start talking about the concepts. So as it goes without saying, the big idea behind this M.O.C is that it's supposed to be a dinosaur, a custom dinosaur with guns for arms. The only description under this M.O.C is that it's supposedly the most violent dinosaur known to man. I'll say one thing for sure is that it's a good thing you made this a carnivorous dinosaur, because I can't imagine like a brachiosaurus or something being the most violent dinosaur known to man. And if it isn't a carnivorous dinosaur, well, I mean, it looks like one, so I'm just assuming. And I like how he added those guns to the arms, or made the arms into guns, or arms into arms. Okay, I'm done with that, but anyway, I like how he included that to build up on the whole idea of making a violent-looking dinosaur. Honestly, it's probably the only feature aside from the design of the head that kind of gives off the idea of violence. Because aside from those two features, it doesn't look all that intimidating. But I'm sure it probably would be if I like saw it in Jurassic World or something in person. Because I'm sure seeing a dinosaur in real life would probably be terrifying as is. So to give it guns, okay. Yeah, I guess. All in all, it's a pretty simple idea. I mean, he wanted to build a dinosaur, he built a dinosaur. It looks like a dinosaur, acts like a dinosaur. It's a dinosaur. And he wanted to give it guns for arms, so he did that. And it looks like guns on his arms. It's a fairly well executed idea, and that said, I think it's time to move on to the final scores. So in terms of appearance, Stampy the dinosaur receives a 3.5 out of 5. It's not bad by any means, it's a pretty okay looking M.O.C. It's got a few interesting quirks here and there though, and I feel like some things could have been done a little bit better, like the head and so on and so forth. As for the build of this M.O.C, it receives a 4.5 out of 5. It's got a pretty complicated build and it turned out looking nice and compact, but I don't really trust the stability all that much. And finally, the concept and ideas behind this M.O.C receive a 4 out of 5. It's a basic idea, you know, violent looking dinosaur. Okay, it was executed fairly well, but I feel like what drags it down a bit are the issues that I have with the M.O.C's appearance. And it's not that the M.O.C looks bad, it just doesn't look all that violent to me. It's probably the most subjective thing that I have to say about this M.O.C, so I'm not gonna go any further. I'm just gonna move on to the final score, and the final score of this M.O.C is 12 out of 15. See? Not a bad score. It's a decent score for a decent M.O.C. Good job, Likus, whatever. Keep building. I hope to see more dinosaurs out of you, because I actually do like this M.O.C overall. So thank you all for watching. This has been a whole lot of fun. I'll see you all next time on the M.O.C Spotlight.